What comes to mind as Julius, not as EFF leader, but as Julius, when you watch Andile and you listen to the things he says and he appears on ANC, what comes to mind?
But he doesn't believe in those things. It's money. It's money. Andile's houses were being repossessed. He came to me. I didn't have money. I couldn't help. He took money from Dali. He took money from Commissar Masha. But I think that was not enough. He's still owing them. And he's still owing the EFF for those cases he lost in Pretoria against the EFF legal fees. The guy was swimming in a pool of debt. And I think he shared that with people who were close to these chaps. And then that's how they captured him. It's not him. You'll even think he has gone crazy or something. It's not him. And that's what poverty can do to people. That's what debt can do to people. That chap is the most reasonable person. If you sit down with him, if you talk to Mbuyiseni, says to me, they met somewhere here in some coffee shop here in Bramfontein. And then he tried to greet Andile. Andile refused to shake his hand, said, no, I'm not greeting London, what. And Mbuyiseni was in a shock. And I was in a shock as well because I thought, if I was to meet Zuma, I would shake his hand and I would laugh about any other thing that we must laugh about it. This door of parliament. But once we get into business, it's business. But to take it personal like that, it's like Andile is saying, you're trying to get rid of people who are looking after me. And it's personal like that. It can't be. It's not ideological. It's not political. It is personal. And the only thing I can think of is the things that were happening in his life. And I tell you, he went to whisper into some wrong person's ear. And that person had a proximity to resources and said, yes, our chap. That's how they finished him.
So, apparently, the guy being called Andile by the journalist is someone who was a member of the EFF. And then he left the EFF and he started exposing the secrets of the EFF to the ANC. You know that the ANC is a very corrupt party. The ANC has been involved in a lot of corruption scandals, including Jacob Zuma, including now Cyril Ramaphosa. Jacob Zuma had to be removed from power by the court because of some of the things that he was doing, which was not right. Zuma has been involved in very many cases, including a case with the Gupta brothers.
Sometimes we have to be careful who we call our friends. Sometimes those people you call your friends are the people who will bring about your downfall. Yes, it's true, it happens. It's happening outside. And also, it's happening in South Africa. You know, Julius Malema had this guy who was one-on-one with him. He was always with Julius Malema in every event. You know, EFF is a movement that, a party that tends to be vocal. They go against corruption because that is what they say they go about, you know. EFF, for example, is always criticizing the former president, Jacob Zuma, because Jacob Zuma, the South Africans are saying that he was very corrupt. He was very corrupt with a team of other Indian family, an Indian family that was expelled from South Africa. You know, Jacob Zuma was so corrupt, and Malema was always walking in each rally, in each speech, in each interview. He would always give, when he would always give an example of corrupt leaders using Jacob Zuma, you know. But then one of his members came a point where they had they had to break up, you know. This person was expelled, this brother was expelled from the EFF. And I think he didn't take it quite well when he left the EFF, you know. So when in the EFF, they say that when you are in Rome, you do what the Romans do, Romanize yourself. Like in an environment, adapt to it, you know. So in EFF, he was really not a champion of anti-corruption. He was just sailing the boat. He was just Romanizing himself. Now, this is proven when he left EFF. He went and joined ANC. The ANC is another party the party that brought South Africa to its full independence in 1994. Now he joined the ANC, and the South Africans are saying that the ANC is greatly compromised. It was compromised by the white capital, monopoly white capital. That is how they call it. They say that the white monopoly capital are the ones making ANC be corrupt. But the ANC that I read about in my history books, the ANC that I was taught by my teacher was an ANC of liberation, of freedom, but it was compromised, you know. The integrity was broken by these corrupt leaders. Africans were quick into electing leaders whom we don't understand quite well their background. African leaders are not about the interest of Africans. Not all of African leaders, but some, majority. Corruption in Africa is to the next level, is to the up. It's so big, you know. How can we deal with this problem of corruption? We can deal with this problem of corruption when there is a crime, capital crime, and capital punishment for capital crime. Punishment of corruption in countries, say China, is hanging, you know. I don't implement that we have such kind of things, but at least if there is such kind of things, people are afraid to be corrupt. Now going back to the person who betrayed Malema and EFF, he's now walking around with the ANC. He's spilling the secrets probably about the ANC to the other party, which is the how do I call it? The party which is the rival to the EFF ANC. Jacob Zuma is corrupt. Cyril Ramaphosa has been documented in many documentaries as a member of the mafia. You know, the other day, Carl Nehas said that the ANC is so much compromised in a way that Malema, in a way that the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, these people are very corrupt to the extent that they've formed what is called a mafia, if you understand what a mafia means. The idea that there is no true solidarity. Even if you join a team and the team is always about African solidarity, even when you leave that team, you should keep the same values that you had when you are there. You know, it shows me that money is what makes Africans to be so corrupt. Money is what makes us to be very bad to each other. Money is what money is the root of evil. Money, the love for money is the root of all evil. It's why we are having fights. It's why we are having corruption. It's why we are having this and that. We should use money. We should not let money use us. It's easy to say, but very, very hard to follow. Very, very hard to follow, you know. Now Julius Malema is in a tight position. You can't just trust anyone who joins your team. You can't just trust anyone. The fellow African brother left is now borrowing money. He's like a puppet. He's borrowing money from corrupt leaders of Africa. What does he want instead? He wants position, he wants power, and he's spilling beans. He's speaking what he's told. Because as a sister in South Africa said this, if a sugar daddy buys you high heels, you have to dance to him. They buy you those high heels, you have to dance to the sugar daddy. And that's what the brother is doing. Africans should stop taking money from people who are corrupt, from Western people, from imperialists, from people who are suppressing fellow Africans. Because they will use you, they'll use you to oppress other Africans. And we don't want any of such things in such days and time. We should be careful whom we call friends. We should be careful whom we allow into our lives. They can either construct it or destroy it. And that is what we've seen with Julius Malema and the brother. The brother showed no remorse. What can we do? Africans, be reawakened. That person you call your friend may not be your friend. They might be gathering information that will be used against you someday and bring about your downfall. So I don't have much for today to say. I'll just see you in the next video where we'll have a deep analysis about Africa and matters of Africa. So kindly do support the channel by subscribing. Give the video a super thanks. I will appreciate a lot. Join my Patreon page. Become a member of the channel. I will so much appreciate. This motivates me to continue bringing value content to you, my audience. So thank you so much for watching.